Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Filio. I have the Matilda Swanson Gallery in Clarksburg. Welcome to In Conversation with. Today we are speaking with artist extraordinaire, Rebecca Gordon. Welcome, Rebecca. Nice to meet
Hey,
you.
thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your schooling, your personal life, whatever you'd like to share with us?
Ooh. Okay, so I grew up always drawing. That was kind of my alone time, my own thing that I kind of did on my own. I remember very vividly one Christmas present. I think I was in grade 2, and it was a comic book, or learned how to draw comics, and I think I did it like every day for a year, kind of thing. But then as I got older, I thought, I don't know why my parents never pushed me, but I just thought I had to get like a job kind of thing. So I dropped out of arts and went for sciences. But clearly I really struggled. Like I had to take courses twice, and like it clearly was not meant for me. So I went to be marine biologist in college out in BC, and I lasted 2 months because physics, yeah, again, it just didn't speak to me. And so moved back to Ontario, and graphic design had literally like just started. I didn't even know what it was when I signed up for it. So I
Wow.
went to Georgium for graphic. Yeah, like it was, well, put it this way, it was so, well, 25, 27 years ago, I guess, or so
How is
when
that
I went.
possible?
I know, right? Yeah.
You look like
Um,
you're 25.
okay. Oh, yeah. In my maturity level, probably too, right? You're mixing my maturity level with my looks. um, but anyway, yeah. But it was literally that old that I remember we even had 3 classes on the internet, and I think that wasn't even until like our second year. And I remember thinking it was crazy because it was never going to fly. It was a total waste of our time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, so yeah, then it was all like pencil drawing, and I think we had computer class like once a week. So it was very like silk screening. It was very kind of old school. And then that ended up working right out of college for a few different studios, and then a small agency that's where I was with the longest. And then when I got married and we had our first child, I had my own graphics company. So I still did it, but then when I had my second, it was just I found it harder to go down on the computer because they're different naps, and as their life had totally changed. So then I had sold the business, and then I took a few years off, but still craved the art side. But I craved the more free. I just wanted to do art, right? So I just picked up a paintbrush and started doing art, and went the total opposite way.
Sounds like quite the journey of I'm gonna try this, try that, try that, try that.
Yeah.
None of it works. I'm gonna try this over here. Just keep moving along.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and that's what I find so interesting. I feel like when you are meant to do something, it'll just keep finding you until you say, okay, let's do this. Like it'll just keep knocking at your door.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're either aware of those knocks. You either hear the
Yeah.
knocks or you don't.
You need to do art. You need to do art.
I can sort of relate to that. I never knew what I'd go to school for because there was so much I was interested in. And I knew that if I wanted to do something and I applied myself, I could probably do it well enough. But
Mhm.
I always had that, well, if I become a psychologist, if I become a business owner or whatever it was, I still need that art side to it, that
Mhm.
creative side. So whatever I choose, I remember thinking about being a doctor, being a lawyer, but I always had that thought in the back of my head, oh, but how do I do that without, I still need to be creative,
Yeah.
even as a young
Yeah.
child. And I never knew that being creative was an option.
That was, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my teacher pulled me aside and she said, Sarah, what do you want to do when you grow up? I said, oh, I just want to be creative. I want to be an actress or a singer or dancer or whatever it was. And she says, no, really, what do you want to be?
I know.
What do you, no,
I know.
really, what do you want to do? And I just looked at her and I thought, what, I didn't understand what she meant by that, by no, really, what do you really want to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing is I find, and I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about the education system because I think we're very fortunate to have an education system, but public one that can reach everybody. But I do find, yeah, like it kind of gears you towards defining yourself what you're going to be. And it's hard to say, I want to be an artist, right? Because that just doesn't seem as practical.
I think
So
it's
I think at a young
yeah.
age, we're taught to pick something that's more practical.
Mhm.
And I think the more and more we do that, the more we kind of let that other part of us kind of go to sleep for a while, I guess.
Yeah, it's very well designed for the left brain.
Maybe
Or I
just
don't
more support,
yeah. Not
right? Like,
yeah, actually yeah. Yeah, being different and not yeah. I agree
yeah,
with
yeah. But I guess that just gets messier. Like that's, a social, it's a whole different thing, right? Like kids. That's why I love kids that are so different, so wacky. I love those crazy.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Mhm.
if you have a room of 30 of them, it's not that easy. Or and then as you get older, judgment, and you want
Yeah.
to conform and stuff. So yeah, like if I could tell my younger self like anything, it would be to have never conformed to anything.
Mhm.
But a lot easier said than done, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Um,
What was your childhood like, and do you see bits of it popping out into your artwork through your artwork? Do were your parents did they recognize that you were a creative kid, and did they honor and support that? Did they understand it?
they totally did. Yep. I remember one of my favorite Christmas presents ever was I say for some reason I don't remember clearly. I was like maybe under grade 3, just kind of all of a blur. Like when a lot of people can pinpoint lots of things that's happened and stuff, I can't really just kind of all mold into one. But I do remember specifically that one cartoon coloring book and a pair of purple moon boots that I was like in love with. And yeah, and walking in
I
the
could
crunchy
see
snow.
that still
Kind of
working
thing.
for
Oh,
you
I thought
now.
I was the coolest cat like ever. Yeah, like those two are so vivid. My dad, he is actually very artistic, but he came from England when he was 19. Um, Came from a pretty poor family, I would say. And so when he came to Canada, he was so driven to make something for himself. So I guess he kind of shot off all artistic side of him. But he was really good. He would always draw with me. Yeah, no, they were very supportive, but they were very hands off kind of parenting at the same time, right? So again, they never pushed me to go into sciences and to be a marine biologist, but they never at the same time were like, oh, why don't you try being an artist? Or which I never, I'm happy that they never did that because I think it's just the way my journey was supposed to be. But yeah, no, they were definitely supportive, but hands off at the same time. So kind of let me lead my own direction
Mhm.
through life, right? So which I say I'm thankful for. Like I'm okay with that.
Mhm. How do
So
your children, you have 2 kids?
3
3 kids. Sorry.
feels like 8.
3 kids.
And 2 dogs and a husband.
How do your children respond to art?
They they don't know any different of me doing it. I'm always doing art in front of them, and I say like we had before the whole quarantine thing, we had my sisters and my nieces and nephews come up for 3 days, and I threw like an art battle one night and paint all over my house, and my sister's like, oh my god, like I would never be able to do this in my house, right? Like it's just normal for us. But again, I think I've kind of taken on the way my parents parenting, where I'm very hands off. I will totally guide them if they ask, but I kind of want them to figure out their own journey without being influenced by me. My middle guy, for sure, he is very artistic and he does it on his own all the time. He's very different than me, but he is constantly drawing. Uh, the other two are, but they don't naturally go to do it on their own. So I would never ask them to, but
And
I
how old are they?
my oldest is 13, turning 14 this year. My middle guy is 11, turning 12. So my middle guy is the one that loves the arts, and my daughter is 9. I said, and she's artsy. She's dancing though, like
Right.
more as opposed to, yeah,
Creative,
physically.
yeah.
Yeah. But but I say, I think I like just showing them that it's normal to do what you love to do, no matter what it is. It's, yeah, I think have made that just who we are, right? We just do whatever that makes us feel alive. And whatever that is for them, I support them 100%.
Nice. What have been memorable responses that you've had to your work? Because your work is so out there, so you can't help but notice it. You see it.
Yeah. It's recognizable, I think, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a very kind of consistent response, and the most, like 90% of it, which I love hearing, is people just say it put a smile on my face, or it made their heart warm, or it made them happy. Like I have paintings in a chiropractor's office and different places even throughout the town, and yeah, that just seems to be the most consistent comments, which that's pretty much why I do it. So
yeah, when people come in and they see the paintings are large, right? And say the 4x4. So you have a 4 feet by 4 foot painting of 3 big bums, right?
yeah
Of a
yeah
massive hamburger,
yeah
of a huge, Zen woman or large Buddha, right? So people stop and they look at that and they laugh, or they think it's just wonderful. They get a real kick out of it.
yeah Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah.
that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you were saying, like we talked about like how the shift kind of thing, right? And yeah, like I say, with Instagram, I follow a ton of like artists that inspire me all over the world. And they are out there, right? There's huge masses of population that, one wall's red, the next wall is purple, like so I think I think it's just we're kind of in a conservative more area, but I even think it's changing a little bit, right? I think people, like even I say, when you look at our decor magazines, like it's like every room's the same, and I think people are starting to, I think that was like a trend. And as we all know, trends don't last very long. Where I think people are starting to live a little bit more soulfully.
Yeah, add some life and some color to your space.
Yeah, and things that make them feel right, not all matchy. And
even if it's just to laugh. And I say that to to clients quite often. You go to bed, you're grumpy, you wake up, you're grumpy, you come back downstairs. First thing you see is this beautiful painting and you can't help but smile. That's a great sign, and it changes your mood. So it changes how your day's gonna go.
Yeah.
And it's something so simple yet so magical that people, I think, take for granted, or that doesn't occur to them. The impact that original art has.
I totally agree. And I think a lot of people, like again, I think it's where we are. I say there's different pockets where more, like I would say my artwork would be more fit into the more kind of eccentric kind of people, home decor, lifestyles. And it's like I'm just patient. Like I find that they will find it somehow on their own, kind of thing. And because you mean like the artists that I follow, and they show they'll post clients or buyers homes where they have their art installed and stuff, and I look at these homes and I'm like, oh my god, like all of a sudden last week I'm like wanted to wallpaper my whole house from head to toe.
Right. Yeah, I
Like,
remember.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to do it now. Yeah. But then it's like, yeah, one roll of paper is like $700. I'm like, but
Yeah.
I'm at that point. Like this morning, I said to my middle guy, who's the creative guy, I said, just start drawing what you want for your walls. I said, let's just paint your walls. So that's going to be our project the next few days. We're just going to paint.
Love it.
Like, yeah, like, right. Like, it's like, that's where I'm at, where I want to like probably even put bits of wallpaper on top of that, like the busier, the whatever, right? Which again, I know that's for sure not everybody, but I know that there are others like me out there.
Mhm.
And I say, even with my art, like that's just in me and how I paint. So I figure if I compromise it at all, then it's not as pure. And to me, that's the whole point in the art. And I do believe that the people that really do want that type of art are looking for that pure authenticity from it, if it makes sense. Like it actually comes through.
Yeah, I remember when I had your painting of the bums. I'll use that as an example again. I had that facing outside, so people driving by, people walking by could see that. And I had removed it the night, I don't know, the night before, and that morning I get these phone calls. Why did you take the painting out of the window? Why did you take the painting of the bums out of the window? We really want to see that, where I do make a point of putting your artwork specifically in our windows to just broadcast the color a little bit further. If it's someone who's driving by and had a really crappy day, and then they see your color, the life that you're offering, the color you're offering, and that offers them a smile, if not anything more than that, then I think that's a beautiful thing.
It's done.
And I think I think that's part of your magic and part of your spirit and your energy, which is so beautiful, that to be able to broadcast that as wide as possible and affect the people that you do without even realizing it, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Well, and I say, going back to how I grew up, like my dad being British, he, has a total typical British work sense of humor that we grew up with. And then my mom unfortunately had a bit of mental illness. So me and my sisters have even more warped, add the firemen, the policemen, everything. We're all twisted in one. So I think that's a big part of it, is that just making myself smile, or whoever. I know anytime anything gets dark, I don't know, it's something in me. I just make light of it. Like it's something I can't even control. But yeah. So because life is playful in the end. I think we take it so seriously, and there are serious things that happen in life, but life itself is not serious. Like we're here in the blink of an eye, and I listen to a ton of Alan Watts. So I think it's definitely a playground.
I agree. What has been your most embarrassing art moment?
Embarrassing art moment?
Yeah. Have you had any? Maybe you haven't.
I don't know. I'm always by myself. I probably embarrass myself all the time. If people could see me, then I'd be embarrassed all the time, probably. But there's probably a reason, that I don't let people see me. Yeah, I don't know. Oh no, I'm totally stumped on that.
Yeah.
I know the art battle, it was ridiculous. Like I was, embarrassed that I painted a little witch shoe, and people the same amount of time turn around and have these like full-on masterpieces. So maybe that would have maybe that would be one of them.
Gosh, no. No.
Like, oh my God, what they created.
Oh, okay.
It was fun though. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So, what role does color play in your life?
I love color. Yeah, I love black.
I do too.
I love black.
I couldn't live without color, and I couldn't live without black.
Right. Right. I agree. Well, and I was actually went for a social distancing walk with a girlfriend the other day, and she has a piece of mine in her house, and she wanted to have a couple others go on either side of it. And she was saying, like, she's very monochromatic, and she was saying she likes having my art in her house because like it made her introduce red into the room that the paintings are in, which she would never normally do that. So then we were talking about the color red, and I was just saying I feel like red is like a black. Like if it's used in a certain way, it kind of anchors, like it makes pink look pinker, it makes purple look purpler, like it's so yeah, I guess I love all colors, but there's something about red and there's something about black that I love black and white for sure. Like probably 80% of my paintings always have black and white contrast together.
Yeah, the high contrast I tend to absolutely love too. And then with a big punch of color,
color is
both,
and I love contrast.
Yeah, you do both very well. And even with your color, there's so much contrast between the colors. Very effective.
I think the graphics background, like graphic design is very unique, and I'm actually very, as I say, like I would never change my path in finding fine arts, say in my like late 30s, because I found the graphics years, it just kind of conditions the brain for contrast, you know, big and small,
right,
color, balance, like all those things that it's like in there now, right? And it kind of, when it's in there, it just kind of never leaves. But
who or what has had the biggest impact on your career?
So when I was in graphic design, I think I was in my third, I went to a small agency, right? I was actually just finished, I hadn't even finished college yet. Was with them for a couple of years, and then it was more print design, and then went and did a couple contracts with people. And then when I think I was 24, 25, a guy out of nowhere, his name's Peter Eliopoulos, he had called me. I guess he had gotten my name from somebody, and he owned, I think it was like 12 or 13 companies at the time, and was using an agency, but wanted to start in-house graphics. So he literally, I got a message from him, and I was working in Toronto at the time, and my contract was actually coming up. And so I called him, and he is a European, and he was literally like, oh, just meet me this Sunday. And I could hardly understand what he was saying. And I met him for lunch on the Sunday, and it was like that Thursday he was at the Apple store with me and bought me like computers and blah, blah, blah to start this little business.
Wow.
And within a year I had, like 3 employees. And so I would say him, I'd say, like he gave a huge chance on me and huge responsibility. And like the growth period in those few years was crazy. But so I would say Peter Eliopoulos, if he's he's listening.
What do you use as reference, if you use any? And you often integrate quotes and lyrics into your paintings. What comes first, the words or the image?
The words. Maybe there's a couple that, no, I think always the words. The words.
So you hear a
words
song, you think of a song lyric, and then you visualize the painting.
Like to say for the hamburger, I was doing a workout and Beastie Boys came on, and in the New Style song at the very end, it's like the burger to the bun, and I was like in the middle of my workout, and I was like, I stopped and I wrote it down, and I was like painting, and I was like big hamburger. Like it was, words are weird with me. And it's funny because I always struggled in English and stuff. So as far as like proper grammar and punctuation, I'm not good at it all. But coming up with rhymes and silly things and the way words reach me, certain patterns of words, I just love it. Like, love it. I say, and I hear certain lyrics, certain phrases. I don't know. And I know, and then it just goes into my brain, and I just know for sure it's going to be a painting one day.
Wow. And so do you use reference for the imagery, or you just, again, it's all out of your head?
I use a lot of reference. But because it's graphic style, it's always a huge twist on, like you could probably see the reference and you might be recognizable, but I add a ton of twist to it.
Mhm.
But like just say like the wallpaper collection I'm doing with the skulls, like the Mexican skulls. I looked up tons and tons of Mexican skulls for ideas, but just the generic idea. But then once I started painting him, like all the design inside is just from my head. But as far as like what a moose looks like,
Yeah.
what a Buddha looks like, yeah, like I don't have that all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not all there. So yeah, so I would say reference for sure. But although my girls and stuff, no, that's all just from my head.
When you come to visit me at the gallery, we always end up having rather lengthy and thought-provoking and colorful conversations. Are these
Yeah.
typical conversations you have with your peer groups or your family members?
If they're willing to have it, I guess, right? Like there's a lot of people I know they're just not. I mean, there's lots of people in my life, I think for different reasons, right? Like I don't have, everybody in my peer group is not, like are very, very different, very, very different across the board. Which I like because then they offer something different to my life. But I find, say someone like yourself, there are like when I meet someone like yourself, or like my girlfriend the other day, who we went for the social distancing walk with, right away, like when we first met, we just kind of dove deep and whatever. And the other day we were in our driveway and we were talking about COVID-19 and how I was just saying I feel like it's getting us to like shed our skins, we grow a new one, and all about transformation. I was just saying I just feel this huge, like it's almost like I haven't even produced a painting, but I'm putting up tons of images from other artists that inspire me. Like it just seems like it's all this change. Like I just like I feel like my artwork I want to change. Like I just really want to propel change, I guess.
We have these conversations and it just tends to either fly out of my mouth or fly out of yours, and we're both like, oh no. But then it's like, yeah, I agree with you, right? And then
I know.
Even deeper and way even more far out into left field, right? So
I know. I can't help it. I don't know. I know it's crazy. I know. That's why that's why I said to you that one time, I would love to know how many topics we cover in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember how we met?
At the art crawl.
Okay.
I totally remember.
You do?
I totally and that's what I'm saying. My memory is weird. Like it doesn't, I don't know. There's certain things in my life that are so, like I can picture everything. And usually those things that are so vivid in my memory, they always come forth in a big way.
Yeah.
So, I picture, I remember you looking at my art, and then I remember you giving me your card. And then, I totally, and then it was actually my mom passed away like 2 days after that. So then but I remember thinking in those couple months, I was like, I haven't contacted her yet. Blah, blah, blah. But no, I totally remember.
Yeah, I remember meeting you. I mean, I talked to a lot of artists that night, but I do remember meeting you quite vividly. And I always thought, do you remember meeting me?
Yep. No, absolutely.
Okay, interesting. But I remember actually stopping and looking at everything because it spoke to me. First of all, you had a lot of Halloween themed and and I love both. And it was colorful, it was unusual. So I just took your card and I remember thinking, I love this. I wonder if can I bring this into the gallery, or is it just way too nutty? And I thought, you know what? I want this. I want the color, I want the life, I want to feel the energy. So I'm going to bring it into my space and hopefully people respond to it.
Aw,
right?
Thank you.
So it's been a pleasant evolution.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, in your gallery, it's funny how things work. Like, so speaks to me. Like,
right.
I love all the different artists. I love how much you have. Yeah, I love everything about it.
You fit in just perfectly. Very important to me, especially now, to just follow what also speaks to me, and I know that eventually that will end up speaking to other people also,
Yeah.
and it'll just grow. So taking risks on artists like you and Suzette Terry, it was the same thing. And then there was Anna Green at the very beginning.
Oh, and oh, yeah,
Yeah.
both really great artists.
How would you describe your style or artistic process?
So, yeah, like I'm not someone to really give any labels on myself. The most I hear is graphic. I'd say I branch out to palette knives, like the more abstract, I guess, stuff that you
Right.
have some of those pieces as well. But I feel like those are more of a process. I want to combine both is where I kind of feel like I'm at, like words with the palette knives with, I'm taking a palette knife course actually right now by an artist in the States. And it's, yeah, like I want to figure out a way to kind of combine it all. And I'm actually really, really loving like street art right now. So I want to start spray painting when the weather gets a bit nicer and incorporate that.
Amazing.
Yeah, and like, yeah, so it's, I don't know, because I say I don't want to pigeon or hole myself, because I feel like it's just constantly evolving, and I feel like there's so much more evolution of it that, but yeah, but I guess there is always that kind of graphic, high contrast consistency, I guess, through it. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Question is, what are you working on at the moment?
Well, I was doing like this wallpaper collection, so adding the words in the background. I want to do continue with that, and I want to do ghetto blasters. I'm going through this like total retro thing, yeah, with like words, yeah, in the background.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. So I actually even went on Kijiji about a month ago to actually paint real ghetto blasters as well. So that's definitely something I want to do.
Oh, great.
But I want to do a painting series of ghetto blasters. I say with 80s lyrics and whatever. And then I want to say keep fooling around with the palette knives. And yeah, those two things would be, but I haven't started the ghetto blasters, but that's up next. I find the obvious funny. I don't know.
Yeah, no, me too, absolutely. I think that's why we get along.
Yeah.
We seem to have a lot in common. Thank you, Rebecca, for all the insights you've offered us into your life.
No problem. Very welcome.
Anytime.
Anytime.
Yeah. See you around.
Oh, well, okay. Well, thanks a lot, Sarah.